Okay, see
Mm,
where we are inside the subscription, you need to get inside the usage and quota. In that, if you are working with the virtual machine, you need to choose the compute and which region you want, you can choose that. Now, you were looking for D series VMs, right? So I can put here D series, or I can say simple DS. So let me just check. See here, standard D family, DSV6 family. You need to specifically check on these as well. So right now, East US region is having issues with all these families. You can see here DSV3 is working properly. And what is a quota for it? It's a 10. Though I can create
mhm.
25,000 virtual machines in East US region, still for D2S V3 I can create only 10 virtual machines.
Maybe something wrong in the ECUs.
Yeah, 10 vCPUs. Now, over here you can go for the request as well. I don't know whether the free tier account is having that option to do that, but you can see here there is a quota increase request. So instead
Yeah,
of
I do have
10,
option.
huh, instead of 10, you can increase that limit. See, if you are requesting for 10 or 20 like that, then Microsoft will easily do that. But if you are requesting for 500 or 100 or kind of, it will throw you the error, because this is a high demand region, and because of that they are not able to increase the vCPU count. Another thing, if you are getting the error, but no, as per my requirement, client requirement, I need this region only and I need this particular virtual machine size with this particular vCPUs, then you need to raise that request. So from here itself, once you get the error, you will get the option to raise the support ticket to Microsoft. And after that, they will reach out to you. Not
Mm-hmm.
only this is a one part to check how your virtual machine, how you can create your virtual machine regarding with the size. Now another point is working in that is networking, because you also need to create a public IP addresses. See here, you can see that East US region, how many public IP addresses I can create? 20. Suppose you have increased the quota of your DSV3 virtual machine size, let's say
Mm.
100. It means how many VMs you can create? D2S V3 means it's a V2 vCPU. In 100
Mm.
count, you can create 50 virtual machines. Now, for that 50 virtual machines, you need 50 public IP addresses as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
here you need to increase the quota. Now you can see here, it is not allowed. It is not a simple way that you can request and Microsoft will give you. So here you need to create a support ticket. So here
Mm.
you need to tell them, okay, this is my requirement to my client and all. Then you just need to create a support ticket from here. After that, that support team will connect with you and they will
Okay.
ask you the questions for what kind of things you need and why you need everything. You need to give the all the explanations, tell them what is happening, and then they will give you the permission. Or else, if it is a high demand region, they will say that try it in a different region, like that.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so these
Got
things
it.
matter. Okay, now another
In
thing.
my
Yes, go ahead.
in my case, I have checked in the subscription resource manager usage and quota, but it's showing nothing.
So you need to check which region have that access. So for
I
the free
clicked
tier. Mhm.
for the select all. There is nothing selected. Still showing nothing.
Okay. So just check for free, or else what you can do, you can just upgrade it to pay as you go. And what is the status from Neo Skills for the labs?
Um, I didn't ask her for that.
Can you check once?
Okay, let me ask.
Okay. Otherwise, another option is there, but you can go for the pay as you go account. Okay. And
Mhm.
then you just, if it is kind of a less particular amount, you can just say that this is for the testing and they will waive off. So there is one option of waiving off. What is
Okay.
meant by that? Sometimes what happened, for example, one time we have created one particular resource which was very costlier service. In databases as well, we have the service of Fabric, and if you run that service, it is kind of costing like too much if you are using that particular size. And for the testing purpose, as per the client requirement, we have created that. After that, my team member forget to delete it, right?
Okay,
And
from where we can inform them
we can
for way off.
inform them. So the costing was near about 40 to 50,000. So after that, we don't want to spend that much amount of money. So that's why we requested Microsoft to do the web off, because it was some kind of a mistake and we forget to delete that resource. So if you request it, if you explain it properly, they will waive off as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so that option is also there. First of all,
Mhm.
check with Neo Skills, and after that, if no, then we can go for the pay as you go account as well. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. All right then. So let's get started with our today's agenda. So what we have done till now, we are done with the virtual machine. We are done with the configuring the virtual machine availability, some part of it. After that, we also go through about a app service plan. What is mean by app service plan? Azure App Service Plan, how we can configure the Azure App Services, and then how we can implement the web application. And another thing is also remaining, which is a container instance. So now, before we are talking about the container instance, we will go for next part, which is a function app. See here, you can see that there is a function app. Here also we have the logic app. So let's get start with the function app quickly and why we are having that function app in a place. So web application, any questions on the web application side, team? Yes. If you have any question, just let me know. Now, function app, its name implies that it is kind of a function. Now let's say there is a requirement of a application. Okay, there is a requirement of the application where we need to collect multiple entries of IoT sensors. Let's say there are multiple IoT sensors and we need to collect the information of it. It means we are collecting the info like a input, right? Now, what happened here? We need to write a code to collect the information from the all IoT sensors after every 1 hour. What is the requirement? After every 1 hour, we need to collect the information of that particular sensors. Maybe that is the temperature sensor. And now we need to write a code. Okay, if the value is more than this particular thing, then you can put it into some particular service. It might be a notification hub, or it might be a we need to tell someone, or we need to just copy that value and paste it onto the web server somewhere, or else we need to just copy that value and store it in our databases or the storage. So like that, my output can be any. Now here the thing is, I need to run this after every 1 hour, right? So I'm just writing that code. To write that code, if I'm selecting the web application, So for the web application, ASP is also required. Minimum ASP, I can say that mm, if you can go for the free tier account, it will only work for 60 minutes, not more than that, right? If you can go for the shared plan or anything, it will also work for 240 minutes. So at least I need to go for the basic tier, or at least I need to go for the standard tier, right? So that is my requirement. It means I need to create my app service plan continuously, which runs, and also I need to pay for it. Now, in this scenario, I'm running this app service plan for 24 by 7 to collect the information only after every 1 hour. So, if I need to just collect the information after 1 hour, it will take hardly 1 minute to collect the information, right? Because these services are faster services. 1 minute is also too much for it, but let's say 1 minute it is taking. It means in 24 hours, it requires only for 24 minutes. I need to run that web application only for 24 minutes. That's it. And for the 24 minutes of utilization, I'm paying for 24 hours. That is something where we need to think about, do we have other options? So can we have any one of the solution which only runs after every 1 hour whenever there is a trigger? Then only it will run, and we need to also pay for 1 minute, or we need to also pay for 24 minutes per day, right? So this happens with the help of function app. Okay. So function app is a event driven short lived task. Means you can't write your complete web application kind of a code over here. It is like kind of a small patches. You can just add it over here. If you want to collect the information, if you want to do the manipulation of it, if there are multiple tables are there, you want to aggregate the tables, you can write a logic over here. If there are multiple IoT sensors and you want to just calculate the things and you need to filter it out, you can write a logic for it. There is an image, Facebook. Whenever you are uploading the image, you want to convert it, you want to compress it, you can write your logic over here. OCR, object character recognition. If you want to do that, if there is a normal page and you want to check, you want to convert it into the PDF form, right? You want to collect all the words and letters from it, and you need to just create the soft copy of it. Then you can write a logic of it. So there are many options, or there are many scenarios where we need the short lived applications, not a long lived. It means web application. It's a very big application. Web application, when we go for it, when there is a website or something like that. But whenever we need the short and simple logic, we need to run the simple logic and multiple things we can write. That time we need something like a function app, which is an event trigger, right? Now, to do that, here the major part is you can write your own logic. You can create your own logic. Now, the example of it, whenever we are having our online shopping website, let's say Amazon is there and you are going for its sign in. Whenever you are going for the sign in, it will ask you for the whether you have the access on your Facebook account. You can log in with Facebook, you can log in with Twitter and all. Now this is a part of what? IDP, right? But in the back end there are multiple APIs are working. Also, we need to check, we need to call Facebook that whether this user is with that Facebook account or not. Suppose I am adding the Gmail account, then whether it is a correct Gmail account or not, that also we need to verify from the databases. So this part we need to do by using the function app, right? Another thing, if In between, there is a something like that. Once you purchase your order, you will get the notification, right? So for that notification, we need to trigger something. Once you purchase that order from the online shopping website, it will trigger something and then you will get some message, right? So like that, for that also you can use your function app. Next scenario is that, let's say we have the databases, right? We have a database to do the fast track or reduce your latency, because let's say database is present in the East US region or any US region and you are sitting into the India location. Now, let's say there is one mobile phone, and for the online shopping website they put that iPhone pricing inside the database, right? So you can see that product details. Now you are not only one who is fetching that information from the database of East US. There are multiple, everyone wants to fetch that information. New launch, iPhone new launch, and what is the pricing of it, right? Now, to reduce the latency, we are putting here cache memory, right? So you are not accessing the data from the East US region database. You are accessing the data from your nearest location, which is a cache memory, right? Now, let's say how function app will work over here. Suppose this is my database. Now, let's say we have the pricing of 1.8 lakhs, right, for my iPhone. Now, suddenly they made the changes, iPhone made the changes, and they just put the value, new value as 1.7, right? So like that. Now if it is 1.7, that value is present in the database, not in the cache memory. So someone needs to trigger in between, right? So whenever the developers or the data developers or data engineers changing that numbers, it will trigger something, and then function app will change it onto the cache memory, as well as if they want to change it onto the web application as well. So for the website also we need to showcase that, right? So for that part also we can use the function app in between, right? Which is called as a change logs. So for that also we can use the function app, and there are many more options or scenarios where we can add the function app in between. So simple and the cheapest solution in our Azure portal is function app. Now, for the function app, what you need your logic, right? After that, you need the input. What kind of input you have, whether it is a sensors or any storage account or anything, whatever is there, you need to add your input. After that, you also need a trigger, because function app will only work if it will get the trigger, right? So if it gets the trigger, it will run the function inside that, and then it will create the output, right? So input can be multiple. See here, input can be multiple. Outputs can be multiple, right? I can say that outputs and inputs like this, but trigger is only one. Okay. Now, this is the function of where you can write your logic. And once you run this code, then only Microsoft will charge you. Now, again, the same thing. Microsoft will charge me, everything is okay for me, but here also we have multiple pricing tiers. Now, what pricing tiers we have? First of all, function app is having consumption plan. First of all, we have the consumption plan. Then we have a premium plan. And also we have a ASP. There are many more other options as well, but these are the common options. Now here what happened in the consumption plan, this is actually serverless. This is actually serverless. Why? Because you don't have the access on the servers as well. Which server Microsoft is using, whether it is using 4 GB, 1.75 GB or 1 GB or anything, you don't know about it. And in that consumption plan, whatever is the trigger, whenever there is a trigger, and whatever time it is taking to run that function, Microsoft will only charge for that particular time. Otherwise, Microsoft will not charge you anything. So that this consumption plan is the most cheapest option among all the applications. But here you don't have the isolations. Means if you want to control your inbound traffic, who can access function app, then there is no option for it. Scaling option, Microsoft will take care of it, each and everything. But scaling out, Microsoft will go for 200 instances. 200 instances. If you remember, by using that app service plan, we can go up to 100 instances by using isolation tier, which is the costlier service, right? But here, this is the cheapest solution. Then also we can go up to 200 instances. And here you have one option to limit the instances, number of instances. That's it. Other than that, there is no scale up, scale down, there is no scale in, scale out, nothing. Because servers which we are using in the backend, you don't have the visibility on it. Right? So this is what the actual serverless. But if you need the VNet integration, then you can go for the premium tier. With that also you will get 200 number of instances, right? And now when we can go for the app service plan, if you remember yesterday we talked about it, right? In that app service plan also we can host our function app. See here, this one. In which solution or in which scenario we can use that? For example, there is one app service plan already. App service plan in my portal. I'm paying for this app service plan 24 by 7. Plus, I want to create a function app. So let's say I'm creating this function app inside the consumption plan, which will cost me like 24 minutes for 24 minutes only. And here I'm paying for 24 hours. So what pricing I need to pay total? 24 hours for ASP plus 24 minutes for function app. So instead of that, you want to reduce this amount again, right? If you want to reduce that amount. So whatever app service plan is already there and we are paying for it continuously, then we can host our function app. Out of that 24 hours, it will only take every hour, one minute. That's it. So we are using this app service plan if it is existing in your account. Okay, then you can go for the app service plan. And another scenario is if you need always on. If you need always on option, then you can go for function app service plan. Now, what is mean by always on? So your online shopping website, Amazon, is available 24 by 7 for you. If you click on that application in midnight or early morning, anytime, it will pop up at the same moment. It will not go into the slow or hang or server not available. You will never get that options. Why? Because the app service plans are always on. Now, what is mean by that? So whenever we are using our laptop, So inside the laptop also, if you can, if you are not doing anything, any activities on your laptop, then what will happen? Your laptop will go into the sleep mode. Even your mobile phone also go into the sleep mode, right? But after some time, if you want to again work with your laptop, then what you need to do? Again, you need to click somewhere. You need to just wake that up, right? After that, you might need to add your password and so on. So to wake up that application, you need some time. And if it happening multiple times for the users will not go for that e-commerce application, right? So that's why what app service plan do, Microsoft itself, that app service plan itself calls that app service plan after every 5 minutes, because the sleeping time is 20 minutes. So if it is not on, then after 20 minutes, your app service plan will go into the sleep mode. So if this option is on, and by default it is on, you can make it off if you want, right? If it is on, it means ASP will call that ASP after every 5 minutes. Get and post, or ping and pong, right? So like that, it will always on for us. Now, the thing is, for function app will go into the sleep mode after 10 minutes for the consumption plan. For premium plan, it will go into the sleep mode after 30 minutes if no one is using that, right? It means if after that time period, if there is a trigger happen, then that function app needs time to wake up and then run that requirement or run that application, right? So if in some scenarios, if you want to do that always on, you can run that function app hosted by app service plan. Okay. Now there are multiple options. You can go for the container apps, you can go for the KDA and all. So right now I'm not going for that part, and don't explore too much for that as well. Okay. So let's start with the function app. Where is my function app? Yes, see here. This is my function app. I can create my function app. I mean, see here, there are multiple options. As I said, you have that hosting plans. What kind of a hosting plans we have? We have a flex consumption. And this is our consumption plan, simple consumption plan. And this is the cheapest solution. So I will go for this one. So let me just cancel this. I will go for this one because I don't want any other things. I'm okay with this event driven, scale to 0, and 200 maximum instances. But these are the things which are newly created by Microsoft. One is the flex consumption. So it is also part of the consumption plan only, but it is having the fast event driven techniques. Also, there is an option of virtual networking, as well as optional with always ready. And then we also scale up to 1000 instances. That is huge, right? After that, here we have the function premium. So for the function premium, your at least one instance will be available always. See here, minimum of one instance required, right? So this is what the cold start. So what I said right now, it will go into the sleep mode. Then if there is a trigger, then it will take some time. So that is called as a cold start, right? So to prevent that, here we already have one instance continuously. So it means premium plan is also having the always on function. And then here also we have the 100 number of instances, not 200. Now they have made the changes to the 100 number of instances. And same thing for the app service. See here, event driven means what? Microsoft will increase and decrease the number of instances. Scaling, Microsoft will take care of it. Here, App service plan, metric based. It means you can define your rules, when to scale in and scale out, and you can go up to 30 instances maximum. Okay. And this is the part of container app environment. Now, what is mean by container apps and all that part I will give you after some time. When we go through the containers and all, that time only I will show you what is mean by KDA and all these things. Okay. So now let's go for the simplest one, which is the consumption plan. So let me just go for again create and then confirm. And here we need to select our resource group. Yesterday I have deleted that resource group. And yes, one more thing. Once you are done with your demos, all and everything, remember one thing, you have to delete that resources. Otherwise, it will give you the cost. Okay. So I will choose that RG. So today we have day three, like, so let's go for it. And I will put the function app as architect 1 2 3 4, something like that. And this is my function app. Now, which operating system you want? You can choose Linux or you can go for the Windows operating system. After that runtime stack, last time we have chosen .NET. Now let's go for Node.js, not like that. But the thing is, Microsoft has removed portal view from all other runtimes. Okay, so that's why if you are using the .NET, then you need to create and you need to work with your function app from the Visual Studio Code or some IDE tools. So if you want to explore the portal view, then you can go for the node.js. And these are the programming stacks we have: Python, Java, PowerShell as well. If you are good in PowerShell scripting, you can go for it. Other than that, if you want to work with other languages, you can go for the custom handler, right? So it is not like that you need to choose from here this only, and if my programming language belongs to other, then what I can do. So the simple one is custom handler is the option for you. Okay, so let me just go for node.js. I'm okay with Canada Central. I don't have any other issues. Now, function app needs storage account. It's a compulsory storage account. Why? Because like a web application have its own storage account, storage, right? 50 GB storage for the standard tier. But in function app, we don't have the extra storage. And storage is not just for the storing the logs for the function app, because function triggering is also important. So the triggering information also stored inside the storage account. Suppose you are using that durable function kind of thing, one function is connected to another function. At that moment, you need to call out, or you need some kind of a in between messaging services. So the storage account queue, storage account tables, and all other things are working behind the scene for this function app. So it is not like that it will only store the logs files, but it is important to run the function app. Okay, so that's why mandatory storage account is there. After that, you can go for the public access. See here, again, this is also a part of outbound, right? You can go for the function app monitoring by using the application insights. Okay, see here, there is an application insight. So right now I don't want it. I can go for the deployment here also. Like a web application, we have all the features in function app. Okay. Again, we have the authentication. If you want to create the authentication, see here, security practices, identity authentication. If you want to create secrets and all, then you can go for it, or else you can just go for the review and create. Simple. Now, once we are starting with this, we will also create the logic app. Now, For the logic app, I will not give you any kind of a demonstrations. Okay, so let me just go for logic app and let me show you how to create it. So this is my logic app. And over here, let's create one logic app. See here, we also have a multiple options. Okay, I will go for the consumption plan only, right? Which is a serverless, public cloud shared, and pay per operation. Here we have that integration per workflow service plan instances. Here also we have the integration. Here we have the local network access, hybrid. Hybrid local access, network access means what? You can connect with your on premises. Okay. So right now I'm going with the consumption plan only. Now here I need to choose the same resource group. I need to put some number for logic like that, right? North US, I'm okay with that. Enable the log analytics? No. This is the stateful conversation agent, autonomous agent. I don't want any kind of agent to run my logic, right? And then just click on review and create. Now, what is the difference between function app and the logic app? So let's go for that. Function app is a trigger based. Logic app is also trigger based, event driven. Okay, so my function app is ready. Now just let me start this one first. Any doubt till that function app? Are you able to understand what is mean by the function app?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right, great.
Ma'am, function app content internally logic apps, but function
No,
app based on the logic app it will run.
no. They
Uh,
can connect with each other.
Okay.
But the scenario is different for the logic app and the function app. Okay. So
Okay.
now let me just show you what is the difference between both of them. So function app here, if you want to create any kind of a logic, the wording is same logic. They both are event driven techniques, right? So see here, if I'm writing here function app and here logic app, right? So the thing is here you need to write your function in some codes, right? But over here, logic means if you are not a developer, I don't know how to write a code, but I know what is the logic behind it. So you can put your logic in the form of workflows. Now let's say I wanted to wanted to create some logic for there is a storage account where we can store the images, right? Or else, let's say there is a no, let me just take this simple example first. Storage account, and whenever someone stores the image inside that, it will trigger and it will send the email notification. It will send the email notification to that owner of the storage account. Okay, so like that. Now for this logic is clear. First of all, what we need to do, we need to collect the information from the storage account for the image specific. If it is there, yes or no. If yes, then what we need to do, we need to send it to the email id, right? It might be a outlook or gmail account like that. So over here for the function app, I will write the logic in terms of code, right? But over here, I don't know how to write a logic in terms of code. So what I can say, I will first of all initialize, right? After that, what I can do, I can collect the information from the storage account. So for that, I need to connect with the storage account and then I will need to check that particular storage account container. Once there is a yes, if someone stores the data, and there is a no as well, right? If someone stores the data, then what? Email, like that. No, then again wait for it. like that. So what is this? This is my logic, and this is called as my workflow. So if you are not a developer, no issues. You can write your logic by using this workflows. So that is the major difference in the logic app and the function app. Now, if I'm comparing both of them, then also I can say that function app is the cheapest solution than the logic app. Though they are doing the same things, though they are working on the same logic, and though they are working on the consumption plan only, then also function app is the less costlier than the logic app. Why? Because Microsoft will charge for the function app whenever code is running. But over here, Microsoft will charge on each and every step. So whenever they are running every stage, Microsoft will create a costing for it. So that's why function app is the cheapest solution. Now let's go for the function app first, and then we'll explore something about the logic app. But logic app is also having some advantages, right? So let's go for, first of all, see here. If you are choosing the .NET programming language, this option is not available for you. You can create your application, or you can create a function by using the Visual Studio Code or the editor tool. So I wanted to show you this option, because from here you are able to understand what is exactly function app, right? Now, what we need for function app, if you remember, we need input, right? We need trigger. No matter what, if there is no input is there or not, trigger has to be there. Trigger is mandatory for function, right? And then we have output, or I can say that outputs, and here inputs. I will not say triggers, only trigger. For each function, we need trigger. Now, whenever we are getting inside that, this is a function app. Inside that function app, you can create multiple functions, right? So these are my functions. I can create multiple functions. Now to create that function, we need to start with trigger. Which trigger you want? So these are the basic triggers. One is the HTTP trigger. Another one is the timer trigger, right? It's a scheduler. It means we are using the cron expression. Yesterday we explored that, right? So like that. Now, another thing we have is Azure queue storage. If someone message something to the storage, queue storage, then it will trigger. If someone message to service bus, then it will trigger. If someone's message service bus topic, then it will trigger. If someone put images or some data files into the blob storage, then it will trigger. So like that here, see, it is kind of an event grid. It is kind of event hub. Cosmos database. Cosmos database is for the change. See here, document change. If you remember change logs we just discussed. If someone changes onto the Cosmos database, then it will trigger. IoT hub. IoT hub means you are collecting the information from the multiple sensors. Send grid. Send grid is kind of a sending the confirmation over the email. So there is an email. Suppose you got the email from some particular person, or you are just putting some filter on it. And if I'm getting this particular mail from this particular filter, then it will trigger. So like that. Event grid. Whenever I'm getting any kind of a triggering on the event grid, then it will trigger. Dapper. So Dapper and all are the part of your container apps. Durable function. So now what is mean by the durable function? I will give you the quick overview of it after some time. Kafka output and Kafka trigger is kind of your event hubs. Now, what is mean by event hub, IoT hubs, or Kafka is something like you have a huge amount of information, right? For example, Uber, Ola. right? So every day you are using that Uber and Ola application. Every day you are going to that big bazaar, right? So whatever is sale, or let's say Uber and Ola, how many users are accessing it, how many users are requesting for the ride, and how many users are getting served by the ride. So these kind of information is a huge, and it is from anywhere, right? Now the major part is Kafka and the event hub, IoT hubs, is to collect that information, because it is a huge in size and it is kind of a timely manner, right? So we need to collect that information. So that's why these services are kind of a big data ingestion services: Kafka, event hub, IoT hubs, and all. So if they are getting any kind of a trigger, then it will trigger the function. So you can write a logic on it. RabbitMQ, same thing like that. SQL input bindings. See, if there is a SQL and you are getting some kind of inputs for it, like queries and all, then you will get trigger for it. SQL output binding, SQL triggering is there, right? So as per your requirement, you can select your trigger. Now I will go for the HTTP trigger, simple trigger. And this is my authorization level. Now, if I'm selecting admin, it means the administrator peoples of my Entra ID can access it. No one others can access it. So I will not go with the admin one. Function means what? If you want to share this particular function with anyone else, you need to share the key as well, function key. So it is kind of one more layer of a security. But I will go with anonymous, because anyone with the URL can access my function. So like that, I will go for it. Now, once you get inside this, here you will get two things. One is a code file, another one is a function file. Now, let me just write it over here. Every function has code file and function.json file. Why I'm writing like this? Because code file, if you're choosing the .NET, then it is kind of a .cs. If you are using the node.js, then it is .js. If you are using any other language, then it is kind of a .py, and like that. So whatever programming language you are selecting, it will go like this: index.py, index.cs, index. Something like that, right? But the function file will be only .json file only, right? So code file can be anything as per your runtime stack, but function file will be having the JSON file only. Now, what is mean by function file? This is called as a binding. Now, bindings means what? What is your input and what is your output? That's it. Direction. What are your input bindings? So these are trigger and other inputs are my input bindings. And this output is my output binding. That's it, right? So if I'm getting inside that, you can see here, this is a normal code, default code. You can see here, it will go just like this. This HTTP trigger function executed successfully, pass name in the query string, right? Now, in the query string, if you are passing the name as your name, like is equal to name, then this will go like this. Hello, if I'm putting name for Sahil or Hassan, then hello Hassan, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. Like that. Or hello Azure, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. Simple HTTP trigger. Now you can delete complete code, and you can start writing your own code. Fine, right? So this is just kind of a sample code. Now you can see here we have this index.js, because we have selected node.js, and you can see here function.json. If I'm getting inside that function.json, you will get to know about that what is input and what is output. You can see here, this is authorization level is anonymous, type is HTTP trigger, direction is what in, and this is kind of a request, get and post. Output is the response, right? So what I can do, I can go back to my index.js now, and now let's go for test and run. Now you can test it over here itself. So I can go for test and run, and see here, this is a post method. You can see here get and post. Get means input and post means output, right? So now if I want to run it, so this is my input, I can just run it, and I will get the output as this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. And whenever it is running good, then you will get the option, you will get the response code, HTTP response code as a 200. Okay. Now let's go for the input again. And now suppose I wanted to add the name. I can say that name is equal to Azure. Then let me just run it. See here, hello Azure, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. So I can close it. Either you can run it from here itself, or either you can go for this. See here, master host key, copy that and then paste it over here and enter. See here, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. Now, to add my query, what I need to do? I need to get over here. See here, question mark. I need to add the question mark. Then I will go for the question mark. Name is equal to Azure, and then enter. See here, hello Azure, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully, right? So like that, you can just run that function, whatever you want, you can write that function logic and all. That's it. Now here there is one another option of integration. So integration, it is kind of, you can see that, and from observing that, you can able to understand that this is your function. Here you can add your inputs. Here you can add your outputs. So let's say if I'm adding my inputs, see here, these are the options for my input sources. Cosmos DB, MySQL, SQL input, Azure table, durable client, orchestration client, then the signal R, right? So you can just add that and then add it like this. If I'm adding it, I can add multiple inputs. See here, right? After that, here we have the output, right? So once we have the output, I can say that HTTP, and then this is kind of a blob storage only, okay? And then just add it. Now why I'm showing that, adding that input and output, I'm not going to demonstrate it, but I just want to show you this part. Go to the code and test. And once you add that inputs and outputs, you can get inside your index function.json file. See here, function.json file. You can see that. So here you don't need to write anything. You don't need to write anything. Microsoft will add it automatically. What is the input direction and what are the output directions? Okay. Is this clear now? What is mean by the function app? I'll not go into the deep dive because all other options are same. You can see here deployment slots and deployment center. We have the settings. See here, environment variable, configurations, and all options are there. Even the authentication option is also there, like our web application. OpenAI, because function app will also work with the OpenAI, which is the artificial intelligence, to collect the information, to train the models as well. So whatever you are thinking, you can write your logic into that function app, right? So like that. Any questions till that? Yes, team, regarding with the function app? Yes, no?
Yeah, all good, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, now another thing I wanted to just give you the heads up. See here, whenever we are creating the function app, and if you remember, there is a option of adding input and output. So see here, there is an option to add input and output, and this is my function. So we are not getting the option to add another function. See here, do I have that option to add another function? No, right? There is no option. Even for the output, I don't have the option to connect another function, right? It means what? This function will be all alone. Whatever logic you want to write, you need to write it over here itself. It is not like that you can create one function, write your logic, you can connect your function, another function, write your logic like that. It will not happen in the function app. Now, this is requirement. This might be a requirement. So suppose someday you are having some images. So let's say there is some kind of very old novel and you want to recreate it so that all pages are just kind of a blurred out. So there are multiple things that you need to do: image compression, image exploration. After that, you need to highlight that characters, you need to recognize that characters and the words, right? So these things will not happen in a single logic, because function app, you can write a small logics only, right? So for that, that time we need that function app has to connected with each other. So it is kind of a chain. So here I can just collect that information from the images, and then I will highlight that words and all to make this more brighter, right? Once it is brighter, then it will collect the characters, right? Or after that, this once we are collecting the characters, this will do the spell check. Maybe some letters are missing in word, so from here we need to spell check. So we need to write the logic, and once we are done with this, we need to put it over here in the output, maybe in the database or the storage. So like that, here we need something like connectivity, right? So we need something which is a stateful in a manner. Means first one is the function app1, then function app2, then function app3, and so on. So this is not available in our normal function app. So for that, in the function app itself, you need to install durable function. So you will not get that option directly onto the screen. You need to install the durable function extension, and then you can start working with that, right? So how to work with that and all these things, you can just go through the documents, durable functions in Azure, right? I will give you this link, and whenever you have time, you can just go through that scenarios. Here you will get multiple scenarios. So this logic, this is an interesting one. So whenever we are having the approvals, let's say you put the leave and your manager needs to approve it. So we can write some logic for it. Okay, if for that particular time period, the what we can say tat is like that, manager needs to approve within a 24 hours. If manager is not approving within the 24 hours, then that will go for the next approver, and this will be the kind of a escalate, right? So like that, here we can write our logic which contains multiple functions, small functions. So for that also you can use your durable function. So these are the scenario where you can use your durable functions. Even in the backend of our Azure portal, we have a durable function. where we are getting that status. Deployment started, pulling started, push done, or else you are getting that one by one deploying, deployed, like that. So these kind of a part of get status. So in the backend also function app is working. It means the durable function is working, right? So let me just give you this URL. It just for the information, right? Just go through that because durable function, Microsoft has removed it from all the course curriculums. So just for the sake of understanding, it might happen as a developer, you need to do these things as well. Okay. So I'm just giving you the heads up that you can do this part as well. Now, let me go back to my logic app and let me tell you about what are the best part of the logic app. Major part of logic app is you can create a logic app inside the Azure portal itself. Now, what is mean by that? Function app or the web application you can create outside as well. Means you can create locally from the Visual Studio Code and then you can publish it over here. That is okay. But for the logic app specifically, Microsoft recommends that work with only portal. Now, why? Because there are multiple connectors are present. If I can go for the logic app designer, you can see here there are multiple triggers. Let me just go for the add trigger. See here, you can see that multiple triggers, act, 3E events. After that, we have a web application SharePoint. Also, we have multiple things. See here, just read it, blogger and all. So these are what? These are the external services, right? And you will get the direct connectivity from the Azure portal by using that logic app. You can see here. If someone tweets on the Twitter, like hashtag, something like that, then you can easily connect to the Twitter from here and then you can get you can write your logic on that. See here, multiple things are there. See, just go through this. Autobots, Power BI connectivity, Polaris is there. See here, Salesforce is there. Slack is there, right? Teradata is there. So just think about it that I need, suppose I need have this kind of a extension or the connectivity, then I should have write the something like that. Then this is your place, Logic app. So you will get multiple inbuilt plugins. If I want to connect with the SharePoint, then I can just click on that SharePoint. I can add my account details, authenticate it, and then I will start writing my logic, right? So this is what the best part of the logic app. Here we are having more than 300 inbuilt connectors, which is not possible in any other services. See here, there are multiple templates. See here, VMware solution. So even you don't need to write each and everything. You can just search for from here. Okay, I wanted to do like this and that. See here, all the connectivities, everything is there, right? See, we have a multiple options. Even not only with this connectors, you can just search for specifically with Facebook account or the Twitter accounts or the any other things. So see here, there are multiple things. See that. Many are there. So you can start writing your code or you can start thinking about your logic and this templates will also help you on that, right? So like that, this is the logic app. So let's say if I'm going blank workflow and I wanted to add the trigger for, let's say, storage account. right? When is blob added? See here. When a blob is added or modified, properties only. So I need to add the connection name. I need to add the authentication name. So this is my service principal. Either you can go for the access keys as well. So right now I'm not giving you any other things. Client ID, client secret, tenant, anything. If it is in the different account, then also you can just add each and every details for the authentication and authorization. Once you're done with this, you can add one more, whether you want to add the action or whether you want to add an agent. So you can add the action. So let's say someone is, when some blob is added onto that, then what? Let's say I wanted to send notification on the Outlook account. I can go for this Outlook account. What you need to do? You need to delete the email. You need to create the email. You need to create a event, draft an email message, whatever you want. See here, flag email, get email, write email, send email with options. So you can just send that email with options. Now, what kind of options and what kind of things you will do? So you can just first of all sign in with your Outlook account. Then you can just figure out what kind of things we wanted to add in our message body. So like that, you can add each and everything. Once you are done, you can just save it and just run it. That's it, done. So this is as simple as that. This is a logic app, right? So you can go for the logic templates as well. If I can go for the logic templates here, let's suppose we are taking that one of the logic. Let's see this one, send email using Outlook, and then use this template. Connectivity, we need to do the connectivity with that. From here we need to add my Outlook account, but right now I'm not doing that. So once you do that, you will get complete over workflow. Okay, so this is what the logic app. Now what is the best part of the logic app? That we are having 300 plus connectors, inbuilt connectors. And that inbuilt connector, that's why we can't create the logic app by using the Visual Studio Code and other IDE tools, because that connectivities are not there. So that's why this is recommended. If you want to work with the logic app, then go with the Azure portal itself. Okay, is this clear in which condition we need to go for the logic app and we need to go for the function app? If you want to write your custom script, custom logic, by using the code, you can go for the function app. If you are not a developer and you want to add multiple connectors from the outside, external connectors, then you can go for the logic app. Okay, is this clear now? What is the logic app? What is mean by this one? Yes, team?
Yes, I can say.
Okay, great.
In logic app, no code, low code workflow
Perfect.
automation services was there.
Yes. Yes.
And in the function app, serverless compute for the run app.
Yes. Both are the serverless. When you choose the consumption plan, both are the serverless only. But in function app, you need to write a code. And logic app is
Small piece of
no code
code,
low code.
yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So we
Hello.
are done with function app. Yes, go ahead. Okay.
So for that, ma'am, code file, we don't have multiple files. So like it's only one file.
Only one file for function app.
So
So
means
whatever
whatever.
your logic, you need to write it over there itself.
Okay.
Ma'am, for example, in case of this, we are using multiple functions. So that in after installing this Jupyter function, one function output can use for the second function input.
Yes. Now, over here, whenever you are working with the durable function,
Mm.
then the thing is you need to have multiple functions. Like one function is the orchestrator,
Mm.
another function is the activity function, and one more function is a trigger function, right? So
Mm.
first of all, you need to start this durable function by using a trigger function.
Mm.
After that, activity means this one, F1, F2, and F3. Means you can write your complete logic over there. So
Mm.
we have three activities. Okay.
Mm.
Different activities. Now, who will go first? Who will go next? Who will go third? Is inside your orchestration function. Okay. So see here, if we have that function app, if I'm getting inside my function app, you can install that durable function from somewhere from here. See here, this is a durable function. So you need to create the durable function. So not, this is not the right place to create that. You need to install the packages of the durable function by using this deployment tools. So see here, this is our console, right? From here, you need to install the package for the durable function. Once you're done with this, you need to get inside your app files. Let me just go for the overview page. And then here, we have this durable triggers. So see here, you can see that function activity, function entity, HTTP starter. HTTP starter is something like from where we can start that durable function. Orchestrator, you can see here, that invokes the activity function in a sequence. And activity means actual what we need to do, right? See here, whenever activity is called by orchestrator. So whenever there is a orchestrator function, whenever we are running that orchestration, it will call activity 1, start. Then after that, activity 2, start. Activity 3, start. Then and then only these activities will start the function. Is this
Based
clear?
on the our logic.
Yes, based on the logic which is written in the orchestrator.
Yes. Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
Okay. So you just go through these documents, you will get more and more idea on that. And here also we have some of the options. See here, there are some quick starts. Configure the durable function app. And this is the one. How to do that. Everything you will get it. Right? In the tutorials as well, if you want to create a function chaining, so this is the fan out, fan in. So these are the scenarios. You can create it. Okay. All right, I guess we are good for this function app and the logic app. Now, another thing we have is the service fabric. Now, I will not create anything for the service fabric. Okay. So this is also one of the application, but it is more for the stateful microservices, or I can say that this is more towards the .NET code. So if you are using the .NET Core specific microservices kind of thing, you can go for the service fabric. Okay. Another thing, we also have the Azure batch. Now Azure batch services means what? Whenever there is a batch processor in the sense what? You have a huge amount of data. It is kind of a big data. If you remember, I have give you the example of we have the Ola and Uber, and we need to collect the information from there, and then we need to filter it out, right? So these kind of things, it means per second we are getting multiple millions and billions of datas, right? We are collecting millions and billions of data. Suppose you want to process on that. Suppose you want to process on that, then you can't process one by one. So you need to put it into the batch, different batches. Parallelly, you need to run it. And then you can store it somewhere. So to run these things, we are using the batch services. So the batch services are mostly used in HPC job where we need the supercomputers. Why they are fast? Because they are not running in the one by one form. They are running into the parallel form. They are dividing their task into the multiple subtasks and running it at the same moment. So that's why the output is also fast. So that's why whenever there is a large scale parallel requirement or the HPC jobs are there, that time only we are using the Azure batch services. And whenever I'm saying that, then our AI, artificial intelligence. So here we are using the Azure batch services because we are collecting so many informations at the same moment and we need to work on it. Even whenever we want to train our models, that time also we can take a use of Azure batch services. Okay, so these are the extra services. We have the service fabric and the Azure batch. Now, when to go for service fabric? If you have a legacy applications like a .NET, then you can go for this microservices, you can go for it. Or else, whenever there is a AI kind of a work, parallel processing, you can go for the batch services. Okay, these two things are there. Remember one thing, parallel processing is required in compute as well as in a database. So for the databases as well, we have the batch processors which are working in the parallel form. So this is kind of a batch processor for our compute part. Okay, so that's it for this compute part. And now let's go for the containers. Now, before we are going for the container, let me just tell you what we are going to do. First of all, we are going to create a container. What is mean by container? What is mean by microservices and all? After that, we are going to talk about what is mean by ACR, then what is mean by ACI, then what is mean by container apps, and at the end AKS. Just a little bit heads up of AKS, right? Now, before we are moving toward the container, let's take a break quickly because it right now you already learn a lot, right? So let's take a break, freshen up, and then we'll come back and then start the containers. Will that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a break till what? It's 10:26, 45. Yes, suggest. Yes, team, 10:45. Is that okay or you want more?
Until 11.
10 till 11.
Yeah.
Okay, if everyone wants it, then we can go till 11. All right, then. It's a more time, just take a rest and come back. All right, so let me just stop this recording and remind me to start the recording as well. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the container. Now, before we are talking about the container, let me do one thing. I need to create one virtual machine because we need that virtual machine while explaining the container part. So let me get inside my resource group, and this is my VM container. Okay. After that, I'm okay with that Canada Central. All right with this. Then this is my standard tier, and yes, I want Ubuntu. And over here, D2S V3 is okay for me. Instead of SSH, I'll go with password. And here, Azure user, and then password. Okay, now SSH ports. All right. Then what else we need? Management tab, monitoring, disable. Okay, I'm okay with that storage account. And yes, in advanced tab. Now, after creating my Linux virtual machine, I don't want to spend my time to install multiple things. So for that, what you can do, you can directly add these all commands that you want to run after creation of virtual machines over here. Now, Whenever we are working with container part, we need to install Docker on our VM, right? So for that, first of all, what I need to do, I need to use slash. Okay, why I'm not going to use that? Wait a minute. How to do that?
I'm copy paste notepad में copy paste.
But I need that notepad now.
Okay.
This is Apple. I'm not able to understand how to use my this controls. That hash and then it is one only, not this one. Now, just a minute. Not here. No, it is also triggering 3 only. If I can go, okay, I got it. I got that. Now, let's go for the hash. Wait a minute, team. Sorry for that. Okay. Let me go back to my portal. Now here, first of all, whenever you are working with the containers, you need to get, or Linux, you need to get inside your bash if you want to work with your bash commands. So I'll go with this. Okay, now I'm not able to do this part. Over here, space. Okay, now I can do that. Okay, then slash, I need to get inside my bin bash. All right. And then first of all, whenever you are working with Linux, what you need to do, you need to get inside your root directory. So you need to add sudo hyphen I, right? After that, what you need to do, you need to check for upgrades. If there is any kind of upgrade, you need to install that. So for that, we will go for apt upgrade or update. And I after that hyphen y, because we don't have that visibility to say yes or no. Then you need to install Docker on that. So I will go for apt docker.io, right? Sorry, I need to install it. Install docker.io and then hyphen y. Now, once you install docker.io, you need to also install all the dependencies for it. Then you can choose snap install docker, right? And that's it. It will take some time, right? That's why to reduce that time period, we are adding these all things over here itself. So while deployment, once it is deployed, once I'm getting my virtual machine ready, I will be also ready with the Docker install, right? If you are doing any kind of mistakes over here, you need to do the same things once you connect with your virtual machine. Now we are done here. Let me close this window. Okay. And then we are going for the create. Now, that's it. Now let's talk about the containerization. Now, any idea regarding with the containers? Anything? Have you heard about the microservices or any other things? Yes, team?
I only heard about the containers, but I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right then. So let's start with that. First of all, let's talk about monolithic environments and microservices. Now the world is using microservices, right? So first of all, we need to understand what is mean by monolithic environment. Monolithic means everything is on the same server. So for example, whenever we are creating the application, then suppose you are creating online shopping website, your front end. Let's say your front end is in .NET, your back end is in React, right? After that, let's say you want to enable the database as well, which is the SQL database. After that, you need some space for the storage purpose. Then there is one of the banking application. I can say that banking application again on the .NET, and something you need like queue services. Queue services we required for the messaging purpose. Now to install all these things, to do all these things, you are creating the single virtual machine, or you are putting each and everything on the single server. So for that, what you need to do, you need to add the web server feature on that. You need to add the SQL server feature on that. You need to make this as a queue messages, right? Everything is on the same place. Okay, you are creating that 64 GB RAM, and you can say that okay, my all traffic can be handled by this virtual machine. Perfect. That is fine. Other than that, you might do one thing. You can create a multiple virtual machines like this, and you can just put it onto the load balancers. That is also fine. So this is what kind of a monolithic. Everything inside the same environment. Now the issue comes here. Suppose the user count increases. The user count increases. Where it will go first? On the front end. And this is your .NET front end. It means this .NET front end, suppose for example, this is a 8 GB RAM. Initially, we are saying that 8 GB RAM. Out of that 8 GB RAM, this has taken 1 GB. React has taken 1 GB. SQL 1 GB. Storage 1 GB. Banking application 1 GB. And queue service 1 GB. Sorry. I'm just taking that initial part. Okay. Now, out of that, only 2 GBs are remaining, right? That is fine for me. My application is up and running, good condition, everything is working good. Now, suddenly there is a rise in traffic. So, which one will affect more? The front end. Now, what kind of effects will happen here? So, this .NET application earlier is using 1 GB. It requires more CPU utilization. Now, as this is a virtual machine, then that CPU utilization is coming from this remaining vCPUs, right? This is my CPU utilization. It will take it without any permissions. Now, because of that, if it reaches to 80% or 90% of the percent CPU, my whole virtual machine goes down. Now, if my whole virtual machine goes down, no one can access the SQL database, storage and all, nothing. Because of the one single application, I'm not able to access other things as well. So it is kind of a complete breakdown, right? So this is what the monolithic application. Instead of that, what Microsoft or what developers are suggesting, let's go for the small applications. It can be a container, it can be a serverless application, it can be a web application, right? So here, let's suppose I'm creating one web application. This is my web application for the front end. Let's say this is a .NET. I'm creating another web application, separate web application for React, right? I'm creating the SQL database, separate SQL database service, storage account. After that, I'm also creating one more web application, which is my banking application, right? After that, I will create queue storage, or for that, I will go for service bus. This is one of the service for the queue messages, right? So these are the things are there, and these things are connected to each other. These things are connected to each other. So it will create a mesh. Of course, it will create a mesh of connectivities and each and everything, but still, those are standalone applications. So suppose, for example, there is a rise in traffic at single time only, and my web application is not able to handle the traffic by using the load balancing, by using that scalings and all as well. My web application is not able to handle the traffic. Then users are not able to access the web application. But in the backend, developers can add these things over here, right? That is fine. For the developers, my application is working. Let's say someday what happened? My SQL database goes down. Then what will happen? I can go for my web application. I can see that pictures, but I'm not able to load that value of the product details. What is the pricing and all. So what I can do as a user, I will put it into the cart, right? So like that we can do. Let's suppose one day my banking application is not working. SQL database is working, but banking application is not working. I'm just putting each and everything onto my cart, and whenever I'm going for the banking application to do my payment, it is throwing me the error. So what I can do, I can wait for some time, or I will try it afterwards, right? So because of a single application failure, it will not completely down our whole application. So that is the concept behind the microservices. Instead of the biggest service, one single service, you can chop these services in a small chunks. And you can use that PaaS services. Either you can use a PaaS service, so SQL database, web application, service bus are the PaaS services, or else you can go for the containers. Now, what is mean by the container? Container is a machine. You can say that virtual machine, similar to the virtual machine, but I can say that small VM. Container is a small VM which is not having the bulkiness. Now, what is mean by the bulkiness? Guest OS and all. So, to connect with your kernels and the backend hypervisors and all, there is a requirement of some storage. So, whenever you are creating the virtual machine, let's say you are creating virtual machine with 8 GB RAM. You can see that there is a C drive. All the applications are already stored over there, right? All the things are there. It means it is already utilizing your some part of 8 GB. It is not completely 8 GB for you. It is something lesser than that. It means it is already taken by virtual machine for the guest OS purpose, right? So that becomes that virtual machine bulky. But over here, it is a simple. It is a plain, normal container kind of things where you can work with that like your virtual machine as a server. Now, what is happening? If my container wants to act as a web server, I will use the image for the web server. If I wanted to create the SQL server on it, I will use the container with the image of the SQL server. If I wanted to be act as a message based solution, I will use service bus kind of things over there. So there are multiple images for the containers, and whatever you want, you can just choose it. So it is like that. Instead of buying a whole building, you are renting a flat, right? Instead of buying a whole building, if you buy a whole building, you will get multiple flats inside that, but you need to maintain each and everything. Instead of that, what I can do, I can rent a flat. If my requirement is more, then I can rent another flat. So like that. And this is kind of your isolated environment. Now, what is the isolated environment? It means that if you specify this is a 1 GB, then container itself can't increase or decrease the size of it. Here there is a no restriction. If .NET wants more CPU percentage, it will take it. It will not ask you for that. But here, if you create a container, once you specify that this is a 1 GB, it means it's a 1 GB only. It will not have the capability to increase the size and decrease the size of it, right? So that's why what we need to do, we need to attach one more flat over here or kind of a container over here to support that load.
Ma'am, either like so here like container means like we are each one like thing whatever we are taking. So this is the one VM.
It is kind of a VM, you can say that, but with the what I can say, it is a light in weight, where we don't have the guest OS and all. It is just a simple one. Whatever requirements you have, suppose you want to create a .NET application, what you need? You need the .NET SDKs, you need that supportive dependencies for it, and you need the web server. That's it. Not other than that, right? So it will just create whatever you required, and on top of that, you can write your application. That's it.
It's like one image we within the one VM we can install multiple images like multiple containers.
With the one image, you can create multiple containers. Is it
Yes,
your?
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
So you need to write your image. Suppose
Mm,
you want to create a custom image. You
mm,
can write your custom image, you can keep it somewhere, and then by using that image, you can create a multiple containers. That is fine.
yeah.
But one container is having only one image.
Mm, yes.
Okay. Now, image is important here. See here, image is there, right? So you need to just put your image, and on top of that, you can just write your application. Suppose I want to work with Nginx, then I will call image, which is a Nginx, and then I will write my application on it. If I want Apache web server on it and I wanted to write my application, I can go for that as well. So like that, you don't need to create a complete whole infrastructure. You can just create your simple container and then with the image. Now image is important here. So if I want to create a virtual machine in my Azure portal, images I can find out in my portal itself. We have that what we have, Oracle, Windows, Linux image, right? So there are multiple images are already present in our marketplace of our Azure portal. But for containers, container is like a VM, small virtual machine, you can say that, right? It is a small virtual machine which also required the image. Now that images are not present in the Azure marketplace. That images are present in Docker Hub. This is a open source gallery, image gallery, right? So if I can go over here, let me just cancel this and this as well. And let's go for Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is what? It's a container image gallery. It is not a container, it's an image gallery. So if I can go over here, it is an open source. You can search for any image from here. Let's say I'm searching for the Nginx and then hit on enter. So you will get multiple options here, right? So you can choose any one of that as per your requirement. Suppose I'm going for this image, right? So this is a PHP and all. This is the official one. Let me just go for this image. Okay, let me just go back. See here? You will get to know about this image, everything. See here? How to run that Docker desktop, you will get to know about that part as well, right? Here, you will get the quick references, how to create that. And this is an Nginx image. If you don't know about how to work with that, you will get to know about it by using this. Now, what is mean by the Docker run? What is mean by the from, Nginx and all, Docker build? So these are the commands of Docker, right? So now I will say that you don't need to worry so many things, right? You just need to do one thing, understand the basic commands of Nginx. Okay? Now, if I want to fetch or if I want to call this particular image MCP fetch, MCP playwrights, AI Gemma is there or AI GPT OSS is there, and I wanted to create my own image, I can do that as well. You can do. You can take a reference from here, you can create your own image, and then you can build that image, right? So image means what? As per your requirement, you are creating your what I can say platform, right? So to create that platform, you can take a use of Docker files. So everything is present in the Docker only, right? See here, if you want to work with this containers, always you need to install the Docker on your desktop. Always you need to install the Docker if you are using the Linux virtual machine, or you need to work with the Docker images itself, right? So that's why Docker is important. Now, once we are saying that Docker is important, so this is for the image part, right? So if you want to work with the container images, then you need to work with Docker. Now, what kind of commands we have? We have Docker run. If you want to create any container, you can use the Docker run. You can use Docker pull. If you want to pull the image, if you want to push the image, then there is a Docker push. Or you also have the Docker build. If you want to create that image, build that image, then there is a Docker build, right? So these are the 3-4 commands are there only. You need to understand that there are many more, but right now you don't need to worry about it, right? Now, how we can create a container? Microsoft has given you multiple options. You can go for the ACI, you can go for the container apps, you can go for AKS and all. But in a simple way, you can create your container on your desktop, on your laptop by using that Docker desktop. You can create your container on your virtual machine as well. So you can say that, okay, then what is the difference between this and that? So if I'm creating the container over here for the .NET, and here I'm just installing the .NET SDKs over here, and we are creating the application. So here you that can go for the scaling. Here this is an isolated environment. So though it is using the server in the backend, then also out of that 1 GB, once you specify that this is a 1 GB, then it will not go beyond that limit. So it means you have the controlled environment with you and isolated environment with you. No one can enter over here, and you can't also don't interfere in other containers. So like that. So this is what the one way. On virtual machine, you can create your containers. Or else what you can do, you can create your containers by using the ACI container instances or by using the container apps or by using the Azure AKS services. Now, what is the difference between that? That part we will going to understand in some time. So first of all, what is mean by container and why we are using the container? Is this clear? It's a simple, small virtual machine which is not having any kind of bulkiness like your virtual machine, but it is just kind of an image, and on top of that you are writing your code. Is this clear?
Could you please explain Docker once?
Docker is a engine to run that image. So this is kind of a Docker engine, or I can say the Docker hub, where you will get that images. So for example, for my normal virtual machine, Windows operating system, or if you want to use the Ubuntu, where you will get that options in Azure portal itself, right? From there we can select the image. But for this one container, you will not get the image inside the Azure portal. It is open source by Docker Hub. So that's why we need to collect the images from the Docker Hub and we need to write our code on our container.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what we need to do next? Let's go for our virtual machine and let's connect with our virtual machine. So if you want to use that container, Docker commands, Docker pull, Docker push, Docker build and all, then you need to install the Docker on your VM, right? So I have already installed it, right? So let me just check that. So first of all, what you need to do, you need to copy this. And over here, there is a Cloud Shell. So if you want to connect with that virtual machine, you can do that. So let me just mount my storage account with the subscription and then apply. Okay, that is okay for me. Next. So whenever we are working with the scripting languages, that time I will tell you why we need that storage and all. Okay. So let's wait for a while. Now you can connect with your virtual machine from your laptop as well. You can use your putty generation and you can work with your laptop by using some softwares. You need to install that softwares, and then by using the putty gen, you need to create a complete secured platform, and then you can connect with your Linux virtual machine. Okay. But this is a simple way how to connect with your virtual machine. So you can just open your Cloud Shell and directly you can connect with that. So let's wait for a while. Okay, now I want to open these things in other window. So let me just do like this. Okay. Let me close this window and this window. Let me open my portal again. Okay. So see here, once you are getting inside this, what you need to do, you need to use SSH. After that SSH, you need to use your Azure user, which is your username of the virtual machine, right? And then @ and after that, what you need to do, you need to paste that public IP address. Once you paste that public IP address, you can just hit on OK. After that, whether are you sure you want to continue to connecting with this, then you can say yes. Right? After that, it will ask you for the password. Now, Cloud Shell will not show you the password. Okay. So you need to just type it and then hit on enter. That's it. I'm just typing it right now. And hit on enter. See here? Now I'm connecting to my server. See here, VM container. I'm getting inside my container. So from here itself, I can work on it. Now, for that part, first of all, what you need to do, you need to get inside your root directory by using sudo -i. These are the basic commands of Linux. So I'm not creating any complex things over here. Okay. I will make these things as simple as possible. Okay. Now, once you are done with this, once you are getting inside that, first of all, what we need to do, we need to check whether our Docker version is ready for us or not. So let me just check that Docker version and then hit on enter. See here, my Docker version is ready. If it is not there, then what I need to do? I need to install it again. Now, the first part, what we need to do? We need to pull the image. So to create any container, what you need? You need image. So first of all, we need the image, and then from there we can create container. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me just go for that. Now, how to pull that images? If that images are present in your private repository, so first of all, you need to log in with that and then you can pull. Now, Docker Hub is the open source, so you don't need any kind of authentication and authorization. So directly you can just go for Docker pull. And what is my image? Nginx. Nginx is the web server. So see here, it is pulling. Done. Now you can see here the major part is Nginx and latest. So whenever we are working with images, the tagging is also important because Docker Hub is the open source. Anyone can contribute over there. It means that if you are collecting that image from there directly, you need to fetch that latest image, or else there are multiple versions. Whenever that whoever the developer is there, that developer is making the changes, that developer will put it the versions of it. So if you want to work with specific version, you can call out that version. You will get all the details inside the Docker Hub itself. Okay. Now, if you are using only Nginx, it will take the latest version only. So this is the tag, which is the latest one. So if I want to check, then I can go for Docker image ls, right? So this is my image. This is my repository Nginx. Tag is latest. This is my image ID and created 35 hours ago. But I am delivering this kind of a trainings from last 5+ years and I'm using the same Nginx. Means what? Someone has made some changes 35 hours ago. As I said, this is a Docker Hub, open source. The developer will make the changes on it, right? So this is something where I need to think about, right? So right now my Nginx is working fine. Everything is looking good, right? Image is there, but you haven't created any container for it. So first of all, what you need to do? You need to create the container for it. So how you can create a container for it? By using Docker container run command. Docker container run. Now once you do that, you need to add -d for the detach mode. Otherwise, it will run it over here itself. So that's why we need to do that. And then we need to add the -p. Now this is a port mapping. Now why we need the port mapping? Because see here, we are inside the virtual machine. So this is my virtual machine, right? And this is the boundary of that virtual machine. And this boundary is having that public IP address. Now, suppose yesterday what we did, we installed the web server on the virtual machine and we can access that web server directly by using the public IP address. Simple. But now what happened? We are not installing the web server on virtual machine. We are creating the container inside that. So this is my C1. And within that container, we are using the web server, which is a Nginx. So by using the public IP address, I can reach out to this particular boundary of virtual machine. But how I can get inside this one? How to reach out to this one? So there we have the port mapping. So like your hotels, we have a multiple hotels. So this is my container 1, this is my container 2, this is my container 3, and so on. So these are kind of my hotel rooms. So I can reach out to this part, but to get entered into my room, I need a key, extra part, right? So that is what we need, the port mapping. So this is also called as a bridge. Now to do that port mapping, we need to use that -p. So now the numbers, you need to add the numbers as well. I can say that this is 8080 number port. This is 9001. This is 9002. This is 9003 or 4. This is also kind of 9004 as well. Any number. 8000, 8080 or 8081, 8082, 8085, whatever you want, you can just put it like your room numbers, right? So by using this port mapping, that virtual machine public IP address can easily redirect it to that container. Okay. Now to access that container 1, what we need to do, we need to use public IP address and then the port mapping, which is 8080. Now, if you remember that whenever you are creating the web server, you need to open the port to access that web server. Which number port? 80 number port, HTTP. So here also we need to add the port mapping on 80 number, and then this is a port mapping which is a 8080. Now I'll go over here, and then what I can do, this is my 8080 and I wanted to open it on 80 number port. Now you need to add which image you want. Either you can directly pull that image while creation of the containers. You can just directly add here Nginx, or else if it is already there in your virtual machine, you can just call out that. So what I can do, I can just put it like this, Nginx, and then I will make it as a latest. Okay. So whatever you want, you can just add each and everything. If you want to put some name for your container, whatever, add it. And at the end, you need to add your image with the tag and then hit on enter. So see here, this is done. If I wanted to check that Docker container ls, so see here, this is my Docker container. Done. Now, if I want to access my Docker container, what I need to do? I need to go over here. What is my public IP address? I need to get inside my virtual machine. And still I'm not able to access it because I need to open the port. So I need to get inside my network settings. And over here, create a inbound rule who can access. And instead of that, I can just go for this one, allow all, right? And then I can just add this one. So let's wait for a while. Now, once we are done, let me go for the overview page and copy this public IP address. Put it over here, and then you need to add 8080 number port and then hit on enter. And see here, this is the Nginx. Got it? Now, if you want to make the changes on this Nginx, what you will do? You need the index.html page. Behind the scene, there is an index.html page. How to get inside that index.html page and how to access the container. Suppose if I want to get inside my container and I want to make the changes onto that container. Then there is an interactive terminal. So you need to execute the interactive terminal for that. Now, how to do that? So over here, there is a Docker. You need to execute -interactive terminal, and then you need the container ID. So what is my container ID? This is my container ID. Copy that and then paste it. Once you're done with this, what you need to do, how you want to connect with that. So I want to connect with bin/bash. Okay, and then hit on enter. So see here, now you are getting inside this container. Now, if I want to work with that, I can go for ls. See here, only these things are there. That's why this is a lightweight in a nature. What you can see here, boot, dev. After that here, you can see that entry point. So the entry point is something at the end of the Docker file. You will get that entry point whenever you are starting with that container. It is kind of a calling. It will call that particular image to work on that, right? And these are some of the folders are there. That's it. Nothing else. If you are using your virtual machine and doing ls, there are so many things are present, right? But over here in the container, these many only folders are there, files and folders, whatever the requirement, and that's it, done. Now I wanted to get inside my one of the folder because I need to check where is my index folder. So for that, what you need to do, you need to get inside your share folder. You can see here, there is a share folder. Where is that share folder? No, it's a user folder. So I need to get inside the user folder. Then let me do the ls. See here, there is a share folder. So I need to get inside share folder. I know that path because I have done it multiple times. So I can go for the ls, and now you can see here multiple things, right? And out of that multiple things, you need to get inside. Where is my nginx? Yes, it is there, right? So I need to get inside my nginx. Enter. Let me check what is inside that. See here, there is a HTML folder, not a HTML file. So we need that index.html. So this is my CD and then HTML, right? And then enter and then ls. So see here, this is my index.html page. If you want to remove, you can remove. If you want to change the code, you can do that. If I wanted to check what is inside that, I can go for cat command index.html and then enter. See here, this is the code. Done. Now, once we are done with this, what is mean by container and how to create the container, let's go out. I will go for exit. So this is my VM container, right? Now, what is next? Let me clear this, right? What is next? We just understand how to create the container within the virtual machine and how to access it and where is that index.html page. Done. And image is coming from where? Docker Hub. But if you can observe that there was an image which is an nginx image and it was changed in before last 35 hours, right? 35 hours ago, someone has made changes on it. Now that is a tricky part. Can I completely depend on my Docker Hub? Because this is the open source, anyone can change anything over there, right? Can I do that? Or else can I create my own repository? Or I can create my own image gallery. Can I do that? So yes, you need to do that because always you can't take your images from the Docker Hub. It is risky as well. Open source, using the open source is the part of um, adding your security vulnerabilities as well. So what you need to do at the first start, take the help from Docker Hub, collect your image, and then put it in your own repository. So now what we need private repo. We need private space where we can store our images. And to store our images in a private repository is called Azure Container Registry. So this is what Azure Container Registry. Now how to create that container registry? So from here itself, you can search for container registry. Remember that like a Docker Hub only, we are creating our registry. So this is what? This is not our container. This is our image gallery. So I can say that image gallery 1, 2, 3, something like that, right? And then this is the domain name, azurecr.io. Canada Central, okay for me. After that domain name label scope, I can go for the same name in the same tenant subscription. Source group will have same hashed string. Okay, this is something kind of new thing. I can see that. Okay, it is just kind of a one more layer of security, right? So this is okay for me. Now over here, there are three options. One is the basic, standard, and premium. Basic means if you want to just test your container registry, you can go for it. Now also I can go for it. Standard tier, you will get 100 GB space to store your all images. And then we have the premium tier. Premium tier, as this is a storage, you will get the disaster recovery. So your data will be secured in the different region as well. So it is kind of that thing. But right now I'm okay with my standard tier. And I'm going with this one only, role assignments. That is okay for me. Networking, I don't want any. Encryption, no. And then review and create. So this is what? This is container registry. Now we need to understand one thing, that container registry is not having the direct connectivity with Docker Hub. It means you can't directly collect the images from the Docker Hub and you can't put it inside your container registry. So what is the flow of it? So if you want to work with the container registry, then you need your image somewhere. You need that image somewhere. You need to pull that image, right? Suppose this is my virtual machine or this is your CLI commands or anything. So you need to pull that image. See here from the Docker Hub. You need to pull that image, right? And from here, you need to push that image to the ACR, right? Now to do that, you need a connectivity. To do that, you need connectivity. Then and then only you can push that image to the Azure Container Registry, right? Now, what we need to do, see here. Let's go through this. This is my container registry. And you can see here, we have the access keys, encryption, identity, networking, and this and that. In the services, I will have that repository where I'm going to store my images. But over here, I don't have any option to directly pull the images from the Docker Hub. Even not on the overview page as well. See here, push the image is there, but pulling the image is not there, right? So what I need to do, first of all, I need to get inside my access key because this is kind of an image gallery, private image gallery. So this is kind of a secure version. So you need to enable this admin user and you need to give username and password as well, right? So this is your password. While connecting with that, you need to give each and everything. Now, how to log in? So first of all, what we need to do? We need to go for this one. This is my virtual machine. I need to pull the image, which is a Nginx. As I already pulled that image, let me just check once. Docker image ls. I have my Nginx image, so I don't need to pull it again. Now what I need to do, first of all, I need to do the connectivity with my ACR account from this virtual machine. So how to do that? I can go for Docker login and then my login server. So where is my login server? This is my login server. Copy that, paste it. Okay, and then hit on enter. Now it will ask you for the username. Username, you need to copy that. Paste it. Done. Now it is asking you for the password. Again, same thing. Copy the password. And then paste. Hit on enter. See here, login succeeded. It will never show you the password. So once you are done with the connectivity, now you can do the push. But before we are pushing it, we need to understand that here there is a tag. What is the tag? Latest tag. So like that, we need to create a tag in our ACR as well, Azure Container Registry as well. How to create the tag? So by using the Docker tag command. Docker tag, and then we need to say that like you are having it like this, Nginx and then latest, right? See here, Nginx spelling is wrong. So make sure about that you are not making any errors. So like we have the Nginx latest in our virtual machine, like that we need to go for login server. Sorry, this one. Copy that. Login server. After that, I will say that there is one folder. I can say that folder name is day 3 kind of, and then inside that day 3 there is a Nginx image. Nginx, and then that will be the version number 1. So I will not put it as latest version. I will say that it's a version number 1 and then hit on add. So this is just a tag. It is not pushing my images. You can see here in my repository there is no image because we have just created a tag. Now I will put that Docker push. Where I wanted to push on this. I wanted to push it on here. Which image? I don't need to add that, right? So over here, let me just go for paste. See this and then hit on enter. See here? Pushed. Done. So once I'm done, I can go back and refresh my page. So see here, you can see that how you can push your images from the virtual machine, right? Or you can build that image and while building that image, you can directly use AZACR build command, right? And you can just put it over here. So this is my version 1. I can create multiple versions as well. I can make the changes and then I can create multiple versions. And see here, this is my image. Now, what is next? Once you are adding that into your image gallery, this is your private image gallery. Now what you can do? You can use that image to create your ACI. After that, container apps. After that, AKS. Okay. Now, I will not do any kind of demonstration, so many things on this, because it will take too much time, and you just need to understand what is this. Okay, first of all. Now, ACI is a simple container, right? It is simple isolated container. If you want to do the testing part, if you want to create some small container and you want to just run it out, then you can go for the ACI, because container itself is not having the flexibility of scaling up and down. Container don't have the flexibility of up and down, means they can't increase and decrease the size of it, and even they can't increase and decrease the number of instances. They don't have the flexibility of it. So you can say that, okay, then if I'm creating the 1 GB RAM, and in case that we are using the microservices and we are using the containers, multiple containers for it, then how we can manage our traffic? So to manage that traffic, you can increase and decrease the number of instances by using other services. So container itself is not having the capability, but AKS is having that capability to increase and decrease the number of instances. To do the scaling in and out is the part of AKS. So you can now understand that, see here, for this kind of application, this is a big application. To implement this application, if instead of the web application, SQL database and all, I'm using containers here. First container, second container, third container, fourth container, fifth and sixth container, and there are many more containers are connected to each other. Every container is having that capability to scaling in and out, right? So if we are doing this, in front of that also, every scaling in and out container, we need to put the load balancing techniques, right? So there are multiple internal load balancer, there are multiple, there are external load balancer. So it is kind of a huge requirement of a multiple load balancers, techniques, orchestration, and the multiple scaling, ingress, and everything. So AKS Kubernetes is itself is a separate certification, or I can say that separate course. 5 days. You need 5 days to understand the AKS, or I can say that Kubernetes. It is originated by Google, and they already have the course for Kubernetes. You can also go for the CKAD, which is kind of a critical certification for that, where you are able to understand how to create the container, how to create the orchestration of it. See here, if I'm having 2 3 containers as well, and everyone is having the capability of scaling in and out, right? Like this. And then everywhere we are having the load balancer. Load balancer is connected to each and every one. And load balancer also, from here we need to also think about that, who will go first, who will go next, who will go third, who will go fourth, like that. And we need to maintain each and everything. On top of that, we need to control the networking part as well, right? Restrict. We need to do the firewalls. Everything is there. So to do that, this is a too much complex structure. So that's why Microsoft has implemented AKS. So this is a combination of infrastructure as a service and platform as a service, right? So AKS gives you the simplicity of the Kubernetes. You just focus on your container code. That's it, done. Write everything in your YAML code. What kind of containers you want, what is your container belongs to, images and all, everything, just put it over there and run it, done. Scaling in and out, putting that load balancers in front of that, ingress, outgress, everything is a part of AKS. So to manage that all these things, AKS will create a separate resource group in your subscription. It will create a separate resource group in your subscription, which resource group is having all the services. For example, load balancers, VNets, each and everything will be there. So this is what the biggest orchestration method, or I can say that if your application is really very big, complex in nature, you can go for AKS. So this is a AKS cluster, right? But let's say I have the container. I want the container instances. Okay, but container instances is not having the capability of scaling in and out. So to do that scaling in and out, I need to go for AKS. I don't have any other options. But AKS is meant for the complex structure. My application is not that much complex. 1, 2 containers are there, and on that we need to just enable, increase and decrease the number of instances. That's it. So AKS will be too much for me because it's a costlier service as well. So can Microsoft give me the some kind of a solution for it where I will get all the benefits of AKS and I can create my small application with the lowest cost? Then Microsoft has recently implemented Azure Container Apps, right? So this is my Azure Container Apps. Why Microsoft has generated that? To reduce the use of AKS, because some of the applications are not that much complicated in a nature and AKS is too much for them. It is kind of you need 1 GB and they are giving 10 GB like that. So AKS is too much for me, but I need the features of AKS as well. So this is a new part, which is a Azure Container Instances. Now here, like a AKS, scaling part. So this is your scaling part, right? Scaling in and out. This part is taken care by KEDA. KEDA is Kubernetes Event Driven Auto Scaling. Don't need to worry about it. It is just kind of who will take care of that increasing and decreasing the number of instances. So this is the KEDA. That's it. Done. Don't think too much about it. Microsoft will take care of it. We don't need to worry about it, right? You are not a developer of that app, container apps. You are just using that services. So we just need to understand what things they are using in the backend. We don't need to create it, right? So once you understand what is SCADA, that is enough. Now there is one more which is called as a Dapper. Dapper is something kind of a distributed application. Now, whenever we are saying that it's a distributed application runtime, means what? I will say like this. Previously, before some years, now also, some motorcycles are having the sidecars. Right? Sidecar, what is mean by sidecar? Yes, it is a storage, right? So if this is your motorcycle and there is a sidecar, if you remember that there was some storage space and then you can put your stuff over there and then you can just drive it with that.
Yeah, ma'am.
Right? So this is what the sidecar. So Dapper is nothing but your sidecar. So sometimes what happened, these are the containers and we need the connectivity between them because we need to send this application over there. What is mean by that? Let's say, suppose this application is my backend or front end, whatever the application from where you just requested for the payment method. So for the payment method, there is another application, which is a banking application. To create the connectivity in both of them, we need the message based solution. So this is a part of Dapper. So Dapper will carry whatever you want. Dapper can act as a message based solution for you. Dapper can act as a dependency management for you, where it will collect the all kind of a dependencies for you and carry away. Dapper can be act as a state management. It will just collect the state of it and just store it. Dapper will act as a logs to store the logs. Whatever you want to put over there like a sidecar, you can just do that. So this is what the distributed runtime, right? So this particular option is also there for the Azure Container Apps. And the another thing is it can go up to 0 instances. If no one is using it, it can go up to 0 instances as well, right? So these all things are there. These 3 services we have in our Azure portal. Now, let's go back to this Azure portal and let's check that Azure container instance. See here, we have this option container apps, we have container instances. So if I'm going for the container instances, create that simple, small kind of a application. Okay. Now for this, I need to choose my resource group. I need to put any name, instance, any number like that. Canada Central is okay for me. Availability zone, I don't want. SKU, standard SKU, quick start images. Quick start images means Docker Hub. You can use inbuilt images are there. Alpine, then that server core is there. Hello world is there. You can use that, or else you can take a help from the Docker Hub. See here, this is a public one. So you can take directly from the Docker Hub. Private means if you have the private repository somewhere else, then you can add that. But right now we have our container registry. So I can choose my container registry. This is the name of my image. This is the tag. So if you have multiple, you can choose that. Now here, you need to choose your size. Remember one thing, once you choose your size, you can't change it. Right? Now, okay. Next thing, networking. If you want to make it public, private, none, you can add that. If you want to add any DNS name, if you already have purchased it and you want to add that DNS name, you can add that. Here, there are ports. If in the one container instance, you want to create a 2 containers, then you need to add the different port mapping 8080, 5000, 9001 like that, and then you can add the ports for this. But this is not possible in our portal. Okay. Then we have the monitoring part. If you want to enable the monitoring part, you can go for it. And this is a major part. Restart policy. Now, one thing in the basic, what we have selected, 1 vCPU, 1.5 GB RAM. If the users are accessing that application and if because of the percent CPU, it is going down, then there is a failure, right? There is a failure. So when there is a failure, then what you want? Do you want to restart that instance? You can do that. Always means if I'm making changes onto that, then also it will restart that instance. Or never. You can just put it as a never. Now, other than that, you can also add your file shares, or you want to connect with the other services, like you want to connect with the SQL database or the storage account, anything. You can just put it over here. What is your key and what is your value of the connection string? And if you want to make this secure version, you can just put it as yes. And whatever your value is there, you can just replace by some numbers, hello, sleep, any wording for it, right? So like that you can create these things. Done? Now, another thing, we have the tags, and then at the end we have review and create, and that's it. So this is lightweight in nature, very small, 1 vCPU, 1.5 GB. You can't get that option in a virtual machines. right? So here it is very small, but it is that much fast as well. Even if you can observe that virtual machine, if you can create virtual machine with 1 CPU and 3.5 GB RAM, that virtual machine is very slow. You can't even take the RDP of it properly. You can't work on it. You can't click on it properly. But with this, with the very small amount of memory size and everything also, you can work faster than anything, right? So this is my Azure container instance.
Ma'am, is there
Yes.
any chance to direct GitHub to directly we can store the image on ACR?
Yes, you can directly push that image from that DevOps portal to the ACR. There is a task. If I can give you that data, then go through that AZ400 GitHub Labs, and I will give you which one is the lab. So let me go over here. There is a container lab. Here, this is the one. See here?
Mm-hmm.
You can get inside this one, container labs.
Yes.
Here you will get to know about it, how we can create a CI pipeline. And from the CI pipeline itself, we are pushing that code.
Go to our repository. Yes,
Huh.
please.
See here,
Registry. Yes.
login server, and then push that image to the container registry.
Once the image is ready, then whenever you are creating multiple instance, so that we can directly use from the
Yes.
there that option, right? So
Yes.
repository. Yeah.
Yes. We can use that repository multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now here we have the container apps. So if I can go for the container apps, so here we have the container apps option. Just wait for a while. No container apps to display. I want to create one. Now let me put it in my resource group. I can just put the apps architect, something like that, right? Azure functions we don't need. Container image deployment source here. See here, source code or artifact. Build or deploy your code without using the Docker file, or with using the Docker file, you can use that. Then we need to add the environment, right? So to add the environment, you can just create that environment. Why we need? Because Microsoft itself taking care of other things for you. Now, what other things for you? For your load balancer, creating ingress policies, each and everything, routing methods, everything handled by this environments. So we need to create one environment, and after that here we have the container. So either I can go for the quick start images as well. Here, see here, function container, Redis, and all these images are there. But if you want to go for the Docker Hub, you can go for the Docker Hub. Even I can go for this image as well, right? So for this, I can choose that Nginx and I can go for the V1, right? After that, here we have the managed identity if you want to enable that. Right now, I'm just keeping it as it is. And then over here, deployment stack. And this is my 4 vCPU RAM. See here. If you want to make the changes, you can do that. See here, CPU and memory. So this is a workload profile. Out of that, for this particular container, how much you want. So you can choose 2 vCPU, 4 GB, or 1 vCPU, something like that. Whatever you want, you can just choose that. And then once you do that, you can just go for ingress. If you want to enable ingress policies, you can do that. Tags, we also have the review and create, right? So let's wait for a while. And this is not the region specific. So if you remember, I have created my ACR in Canada Central somewhere, and I'm creating the apps in different regions. That is okay. So once we are starting with this, my ACI is ready. So let me get inside my ACI as well. Once we start the deployment, then and only I can go for it. Okay. Once you are getting this page, then only you can go for your container instance. This is my container instance. And then this is my application. Done, right? So if I can copy this, copy, and then paste it over here. See here, I'll get that Nginx. Same thing, because we are using the same image for it. Now, how to connect with this? You can see that there is a container. See, properties, logs, connect. So from here, connect option. Just a minute. Do we have that option here right now? Maybe it is taking some time for it. But you will get that option over here, whether you want to work with bin bash or bin sh. If you want to work with PowerShell, you can go for sh. If you want to work with bash, you can go for bash. Okay. And then you can again go for it is direct connectivity to your container. You can get inside that, and you know the folder is present in that user folder, share folder, then nginx, and then inside that html, and then we have that index.html. So I guess because of the size of it, it is taking some time, so let it be. Now here you can see that identity option is there, properties option is there, log is there, but there is no option for the size, right? So that is what it is. There is no scaling up and down, there is no scaling in and out, nothing. So it is a simple small container with your image. That's it. Now, if I can go back and still my deployment is going on, it will take some time. Okay. So till that time, if I can go for AKS, see here, you need to create the Kubernetes services. After that, you need to create a Kubernetes clusters. Now here, you need to use your resource group, which one you want. Is it a production, or is it kind of a just testing purpose? Is it kind of a production economy or production enterprise? So I'll go for the dev test. You can put the cluster name. You can add the region. Now after that, you can just put it the fleet manager. I don't remember. It's kind of manage your cluster. Okay, so this is kind of a fleet manager. I don't require any. Availability zone, none. I will put some naming convention for it. Container org, something like that name. Okay. And then pricing tier, free pricing tier, standard pricing tier, premium one, whatever you want, you can choose that. After that, here we have the Kubernetes version, automatic upgrade, everything you can enable that. And this is what the node image. Now for AKS, as I said, this is PaaS plus infrastructure as a service. So to run that containers, everything, it will create a node. Node is nothing but it's a virtual machine itself, server, right? It is a server. So you can see here, this is an agent, and this is the server, and this is on the Ubuntu operating system, Linux operating system. So you can add multiple node pools as per your container number of containers. You can add the multiple node pools over here, right? And then you can enable that containers to run on that servers. So to run that servers or to run that container, you need that server in the backend. Okay. We have the networking part. If you want to enable the networking for anything, integrations we have, monitoring we have, security you can add, advanced you can add. Now somewhere integration, see here, container registry. I can choose that. And if you want, you can just add that image, everything, whatever you want. And then you can go for advanced and then tag and then create it. Right now, I'm not going to create anything because it is costlier service. So I will not go for it. Okay. But if you want, you can go for it. So this part is done. And yes. So if you want to check how Kubernetes work, then just search for Azure Kubernetes services, and here you will get that one quick start. Where is that quick start? Create image definition, Kubernetes services, capture image, no. Networking, storage. I guess they have removed it. Okay, wait a minute. Just a minute. I need to check for it. Earlier, there was a simple code where we can run that code and we can just easily check how the AKS is working. But that's okay. Microsoft has made some changes on it. Get started with this. Compare, deploy multi-container application. Prepare container registry, container cluster. Okay, here. Microsoft has given the complete structure over here. So you can, if you want to deploy that, you can just go through this one. Okay. So let me copy this and paste it over here. Done. All right.
Uh,
So,
Ma'am, major difference between apps and AKS.
orchestration, complicated orchestration. So if there is a complex structure, like you have so many containers on that, like if
Hmm.
you remember this part.
Hmm, 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 hmm.
So like this applications where multiple containers are working together, we
Hmm,
need to go for orchestration. It is kind of a complex orchestration.
hmm.
Ingress are multiple ingresses are there, securities are there, policies we need to add, everything. Then you can go for the container, sorry, Azure Kubernetes services.
Kubernetes. Even
Yeah.
apps also they give you the minimum service, right? Like so
Minimum.
without
It
them.
will give you the AKS kind of a experience, but not exactly AKS.
Okay, okay.
It is kind of a in between.
Yeah.
It is
Less load
having,
and low maintenance kind of.
yes, yes. So if my application is small, then I can go for this part, not
Hmm.
spending my money on the AKS part.
AKS. Okay, okay.
Okay. All right. So let me go for my container apps now and just go through this. So the container apps, here we have the revision, replicas, everything. Like a containers, you can add multiple containers onto that. Scale is also option for it. You can go up to minimum 0, see here. And maximum scaling out, you can go up to 1000, right? After that, here we have the volumes. You can add, if you want to add some storage part, delete any volume or add any volume, you can just do that from here. Deployment, like a web application, if you have your code in your GitHub or somewhere, you can just attach that, or the Docker Hub, you can attach that. See here, sign in with GitHub. If you have your code in GitHub, you can just directly add this. Deployment stacks, we have multiple deployment stacks as well, Java, .NET, right? Dapper, if you want to add the sidecars, you can add that. Service connectors, there are multiple service connectors as well if you want to create that. See here, register your resource provider first of all, and then you can add the services, multiple services, connect to that services. Resiliency we have, see here, ingress, outgress, you can add that. Security, these are the options. Monitoring, we have the options, and automation, we have these options. So it is kind of a small structure of AKS. Sorry. And here also, okay, let me just give you this part as well. Yes, authentication. Like a web application, this is also one of the option. First of all, we need to add the ingress, but right now I'm not doing it. And this is my overview page. See here, this is my container apps environment. So first of all, ingress means what? Who can access your container apps? So for that, you need to enable this. If you're not enabling it, you are not able to access it, right? So once you enable it, you will get that URL kind of things, and then like a web application, you can access it, right? So simple one, I will not go do deep dive on it for the container apps and all, because these are the complicated in a nature. You just need to understand what is the container app and Kubernetes services and when to choose what. Okay. So these are the things, what kind of services we have learned so far. First of all, we have started with virtual machine. So if you want to do the migration or if you want to take the complete control on your server, you can go for virtual machine. If with that control and all, you also want the auto scaling feature, then you can go for the VMSS, okay? Or you have the customization, you need to use the custom images, but you need the auto scaling feature as well, then you can go for VMSS. If you are a developer and you don't want to spend your too much time and also you want multiple features of PaaS services, then you can go for web applications, right? If you want to create a triggering mechanism, then if you want to write your own code, customize that code, then you can go for the function apps. If you want to connect with the external sources like a Twitter, Facebook, SharePoint, or Salesforce, ServiceNow, anything, and you need that connectivities and you don't need to write, or you are searching for one solution for low code, no code, then you can go for logic apps, right? If you are working with the .NET legacy applications or microservices and just working with that, you can go for the service fabric. If you're working for the big data solutions and you need the multiple process to run parallelly on that, for example, your AI or your any kind of SAP kind of things or your big data kind of things where multiple manipulations and everything is there, then you can go for the batch services, right? If you want the containers, then you can go for the container on virtual machine, or you can go for the ACI if you require the simple small kind of a isolated container which is not having any other feature, you can go for the ACI. If you want the complex structure, you want to create a complete orchestration and your application is very big and you want that Microsoft needs to handle each and everything, so many things, then you can go for the AKS. But let's say you want the feature of AKS but your requirement is not that much big, you can go for Azure Container Apps. Okay, so these all things we have understood. Also, one more service we understood, which is ACR, Container Registry. It is not a part of compute. It is just a image gallery in your Azure portal. Okay. So these are the decision criteria where we need to think about which service is suitable for our requirement. Is this clear? Yes, we are done with the compute part.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, what you need to do, as yesterday we discussed about AZ 900 GitHub Labs. See here, you need all these links. I'm sharing you all these links now. After that, we also need to go for AZ 104 GitHub Labs. Right? This is the one. And let me just go for this one. To get started with this, you need to go for this. Okay, I will go for instructions. And here we have the walkthroughs. Okay, so for AZ900, this is the link. For AZ104, this is the link. Now, those who are the developer, 204 GitHub Labs. This is the link. Okay, I'll go for this one. Exercises, no, not exercises, labs. Okay, this is the link. Another thing, today we have finished with GitHub, we have finished with our part, which is the compute. And that's why we are starting with AZ305 GitHub Labs. AZ305 GitHub Labs don't have the demonstration and hands-on. It is just kind of your case study. So over here, if you can go through, this is the scenario. As an architect level, you will get this kind of a scenarios from the client. You need to ask multiple questions and confirm that what is their requirement and what they want exactly, right? And once you get these all things, you need to come up with your idea. For the IIS web server, which one will be my solution? For .NET framework, which one will be my solution? And for the SQL database also, which one will be my solution? So here you need to create the architecture diagram for it. Read it properly and what will be your solution, maybe in terms of infrastructure as a service, maybe in terms of the PaaS service, maybe in terms of the containers and all. Just think about it, which one is suitable for what, and then you need to tell me that things in our next session. Okay. So what I can do, I will give you all the links right away. So for this, see here, container instance, web app, and the virtual machine. For AZ900, we have lab number 1, 2, and 3. So do we have any other labs? IoT and all.
Along with study material also within the there, ma'am. Study material also.
Study material also I am sharing. I have already shared yesterday as well, but let me do one thing and copy each and everything, okay, in one place and then keep it with you because you will need these things every time.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is the AZ900 instructions walkthrough. Let me just cancel it. Let me copy this first. Control C. For AZ900 labs. This is the one. I'm just writing it in a one chat itself. 104 lab. So this is the 104 lab. Control C. Then we have those who are working for .NET, they can only go for AZ204, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, you will get confusion because these all labs are working on the .NET platform and Visual Studio Code as well. So it is
Yeah.
not for other participants. So here, after that, we have 305. And for 305, we have this. And also someone for that AZ400, right? You're looking for AZ400 as well. So let me just go like this. Lab. See, observe that every time whenever I'm searching for it, I'm for the lab purpose, I'm using GitHub Labs. That's it. This is the way how you can search for all kind of labs for Microsoft. And sometimes you will get that option link to HTML. You can just copy that, or else you will get that option in the instructions pan. Okay. So see here, done. So these are the lab documents that you need to refer. Now, I will only say that in AZ 900, you need to complete lab 2, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. You need to complete 1, 2, and 3. After that, in AZ 104, you need to complete 104. What we have? Virtual machine intersite connectivity. Yes, these two. Lab number 8, 9. Complete 9. Okay. Lab number 8 and 9. In AZ 204, those who are working on AZ 204, they need to complete those are the corrections, exercises, demos, lab 00 exercises. Do we have anything for it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Deployment, create this, all files, exercises, and then labs, and that lab solution starter. Those are the files. Yes, 204, those who are working on the 204, they need to download that all files as well. So do one thing, just clone this repo, complete repo onto your, by using the git clone onto your machine, and then work for it. Okay. So here I'm not able to figure out where is that option. So instructions, we have labs, count name, app service plan. Yes, this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. This one, lab number 1, you need to finish. And after that, I guess lab number 6. No, 5. Yes. First and fifth. Okay, AZ 204, it's first and fifth. AZ 305, lab number 2, and AZ 400, lab number, what was that lab number for 400? Compute solutions, and then 400, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, lab number 6. Okay. Anything else? Or DevOps, whoever is from the DevOps part, they can just try out each and everything. Okay. I will not specify with this. All right. So this is the one. And
400 specified to DevOps, ma'am.
DevOps, yes. AZ400 is a designing and implementing Microsoft DevOps solutions,
Okay.
where you will get the little bit touch up on your GitHub part. And if are you from the GitHub side?
Yeah, actually, currently I'm using GitHub and Jenkins.
Then just for sake of understanding, go for Azure DevOps. But here we have other resources. Let me just give you the heads up of it. Microsoft has launched GH series.
Okay.
Okay, so which is specifically for GH GitHub certifications. So
Okay.
we have 4 certifications in GitHub: GH 900 GitHub Foundation, GH 100 GitHub Administration, GH 200 GitHub Actions,
Okay.
GH 500 Security.
Okay.
Okay, so you can go for it. Same thing, whatever is there, just go for. Microsoft has not created the labs for it just now, but you will get all the labs inside your learning path itself. So
Okay.
if you can go for GH 900, if you can search for this GitHub Foundation See here, this is a learning,
Hmm.
learn.microsoft.com. See here, this is the certification,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, to do that certification or to get that all that information and all, you will get to know about it from here. See here, exercise, try it out. So once you click on this, try it out, you will redirect it to this, where you will get all the options. See here, steps, labs. So the labs are like this. Here.
Okay.
Again, these are the open source and it is easy to work with that. So just go through that. Recently, I have cleared 4 certifications and now I'm waiting for 5th certification in this month. So all the GH series done.
Okay.
So you can also go through that. And if you want to plan for the certification, you can connect me personally. I will guide you what are all the things that you need to do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. All right. So this part is done. Now we are done with this. Okay. Now still we have 1 hour left. So shall we go for storage account or do you want me to stop here itself? Team, what we can do
Next session, ma'am.
in the next session. Okay. What about others?
Next week.
Okay. All right. So next week, what we are going to do, let me close this window and this one. So we are done with this. I have given you all the things. See here, batch solutions, app service, container instances we have done, logic apps, function apps, everything we have done. Now, next week, what we need to do, we need to work with the storage account, right? So anything, I will just check on that pointer what we can do. Either we can start with the identities, Azure, what we can say, Microsoft Entra ID, or we can start with the storage account. Okay. So, but our target is 1 day we need for this one. Let me just go for this one. See here. So this is a governance compliance. It will take only 1 day because there are so many things, but small things are there. We already covered the resource group tagging, subscription, what is mean by that. Management group, you have some idea, but we need to get inside the management group and we need to understand how to add the management group. Okay. Governance, policies, how we can create the policies, RBAC roles, what is mean by landing zone. There is no demonstration for the landing zone. This is kind of if you have an enterprise level subscription, then you can create a landing zone. So for that purpose as well, I will just give you the heads up on it. So we can cover these pointers. Let me just go back. And this one also we can cover it in a single day itself. Okay. Now, once we complete this part, then we need to finish the database. For the networking part, I will touch that networking part once we are completing the storage part and all, as this is kind of a huge part and we need complete week for it. Maybe 2 sessions we need. Okay. So this is the storage account. We need to complete that storage account where we are focusing more on the storage account, blob storage. And then what is mean by the this one? See here, storage account is there all over. And after that, we're going to talk about what is mean by the SQL database, Cosmos database. So I will also spend some time on Cosmos database as we are having the developers and as a solution architect, Cosmos DB is the major part. So this is kind of evolution of the databases kind of things. So we will spend some time on that. But after that, data factory, I will just touch on the data factory, data lake, data bricks, synapse analytics, and then stream analytics also. Okay. So here we are just going to touch on that pointers. That's it. There is no too much demonstration. If possible, I will uh, provision all the resources, and then I will show you what is mean by that Databricks and all. Or else I will create a Synapse Analytics, and from there only I will show you what is mean by Databricks and Data Factory and all these things. Okay. So I'll work on that, how to cover each and everything in a one single day itself.
Ma'am, can
And
you also please check with the status anything of the lab because I've put in the group, but then I didn't get any reply.
okay, I will check with that.
Okay,
Even
thank
I called him twice. He did not pick the call. I don't know. The one
Okay,
with them, so.
then let me just call them and check with that. Okay. All right. I guess we are good here, right?
Yeah.
And any other questions, team? I hope you are able to follow that things. I hope you are getting something from my session. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Once you have the hands-on, then you will get more confidence on it. Okay. So just wait for some time. If you are not getting the labs, then just go for the free tier account and just go for the pay as you go. Okay, and just try it out all the labs, and then let me just stop the record.